years ago, the possibility of a black man serving as the President of the United States seemed like a far-fetched fantasy. 50 years ago, having a Jewish man run as a Democratic candidate in hopes to become president seemed far off, unachievable, even impossible. 50 years ago, the possibility of having not one, but two Muslim congresswomen serving our nation seemed unimaginable. The United States Congress has 3 Hindus, 3 Buddhists, and 2 Muslims. 9.5% of the House is black and 5% Hispanic. The reality that the participation of minorities in politics was so unimaginable, but is shifting into truth, and to some a force that must be reckoned with, proves that we are clearly seeing an increase in the political involvement of minorities, and we must ensure that it stays that way. Because a group that refuses to be involved politically is a group that refuses its own existence. And I want all of you to take that in. That if we do not get involved politically, that if we deprive our youth of the representation that now 16-year-old me is still yearning for, that if we choose to sit in silence while provided a voice, we must not use that voice to complain about the very system that we have the power to change. Too familiar with the weekend social gatherings where our friends and families like to sit while sipping their tea and speak about all the issues that plague our world. And the next weekend rolls around and they do the same exact thing, failing to actually take action, failing to get involved. But my respected elders are not really the only ones to blame. With the rise of passive activism, I see my fellow classmates passionate about the issues that are plaguing our world. Issues such as climate change, the crisis at the border, and police brutality, just to name a few. But when asked what they're doing to actually face these issues, they seem satisfied with a simple retweet or post. And while that is significant in raising awareness about a specific issue, it fails as a viable action item. We as a community, elders and youth alike, cannot be satisfied by solely disapproving in our hearts and not actually using our power, rights, and freedom in this nation to bring about solutions. Solutions aren't just things we as a community must look at from afar, or pray that someone else writes them for us, or hope that we can just sit around and put that responsibility on another. Rather, we must be the authors of our own solutions, the authors of our own stories. Truth be told, I am frustrated with our stories being told by everybody but us. Now that we are slowly beginning to regain that pen into our hands, we must ensure that it stays in our hands. And for that, there is work to be done. Political involvement is essential in order for us as a community to ensure that our voices are being heard. For the past few months, I have been working with leaders from different backgrounds that share one goal: empowering those around them. And to my fellow youth in the audience, I would say to you, to not shy away and wait for someone to invite you to the table. We have been waiting far too long to be invited to that forsaken table. We cannot wait any longer. Make space for yourself. Your voice deserves to be heard. And for my respected elders in the audience, you lead by example. You cannot breed a generation that is blind to their rights and responsibilities in this country and then expect them to go out and lead. Encouraging your children to actively participate is essential, because if you do not encourage them, then do not expect anyone else to do that. Participation is key. We must get to know our local legislators and politicians and get in touch with them. We must not only identify issues we care about, but actively pursue on those issues. Being an active member of our community is essential in today's day and age. We need to attend town halls and city council meetings, join a voting league or political organization, and register to act on behalf of a political party. And you must support organizations like NIAMA, Northern Illinois American Muslim Alliance, and yes, that includes financial support too. And most importantly, because elections are coming up, I encourage you to vote in those elections, not just the big ones, our local elections as well. We must ensure that our voices are accounted for. We must ensure that we are heard. We must ensure that we exercise the basic right and fundamental obligations of being a citizen of the world's oldest democracy. Anything less will be unacceptable. My dear fellow Americans, we have a choice to make. We either get involved and participate and get counted for, or we be ignored in all fronts and remain solely a statistic. Thank you very much.
Won't you say that we